we talked about Crunch, we talked about Rampage. Any other like heroes? I guess we talked about Terra as well. Any other like heroes that stands out to you, Mugiwara? I mean Shadow.
In the jungle, another hero or another player I want to kind of highlight in this series for me is Ragnarok. He's a very aggressive and active player on the map, and I've personally really only seen him play Zarus. Well, look at that, Zarus and Sereth, and we do see here Zarus being picked up first. They did ban out the Rampage, and as unexpected, Central America bans out that Feng Mao, that one trick. So going to be forcing the hand. What is M going to do into this game?
Oh, this draft is just shooting by. Like these people know what they want to play and what they want to pick as well. We already got Deck and Argus this time around. They got the wombo combo in the mid and support, and with the swords followed up. Question is now, how do you pivot this point? You have the mid laners, jungle, and most likely off laner picked for Central America. So I'm expecting the dual lane to be something spicy here if they want to leave it for last. But with the pool being a bit pinched here, they might just have trouble finding their sort of footing.
With these early picks here, they are not wasting time. They went bam, bam, bam. I want this. I want this. Now that we're playing on a server that we want to play on, but you know, you're seeing the Zarus, the Decker and the Argus, which are Shadow's two favorite heroes. But of course, what's missing is the ADCs, and Central America recognize that. They're gonna take out that Drongo, ban him away, and of course, as a response, Saudi's like, let's take out the Richter as well.
Yeah, they take out the Richter, recognizing that Central America needs a duo lane. But what I was going to suggest before they picked Belica was that they were going to pick Belica because in the last draft I talked about how Belica's kind of like another discount Decker in that she offers a lot of the same stuff that Decker offers, just to a lesser capacity. And granted, Saudi Arabia put Belica in the mid lane. I was expecting her to be a support paired up against that Decker because it's very much like they're very similar. But here we see Murdoch. Murdoch's a very just solid, reliable pick. He allows total map engagement, but this is the surprising one. Is this going to be a Ragnarok Kalari?
Now they're cooking. Now they're bringing out the fun stuff. Kalari being one of those. If it's in the jungle, we also know that the Kalari can be played in off lane. We know with someone like Jan, he loves to play that champion and usually does very well as well. So maybe this would be an off lane pickup for M, or it's gonna be on Ragnar's hand. But I'm gonna keep my eyes locked in on that Kalari, that's for sure.
Oh, that is one spicy pick coming in from Saudi Arabia. They said, hey, we're going to take advantage of this ping. You know, the other game was just ignore that. Now we're going to pick this Kalari. Now we're looking at these drafts rounded out from Saudi as well as Central America. What are your guys' picks on who's going to win based on draft?
This is really hard. On one hand, you have Central America, who kind of has this team fight presence, really solid, reliable heroes. But Saudi Arabia, Ragnarok, he's going to be active. And if it is a Ragnarok Kalari, I got to give the edge to Saudi Arabia because he is, he in his interview, he said no one on his team really cooks, but I think he cooks. So I'm leaning Saudi Arabia just because of Ragnarok.
I feel like I have to agree with you there, especially when you have those that Decker and that Argus just helping that Kalari out, just finding those picks as well. And you have a not too mobile either team on the other side. You have like Terra, Grim, and Belica who are quite stationary, which means he's easier to set up. Though Terra has her elusiveness with their ulti and stuff, but on that said, I think Saudi Arabia has the upper hand with this draft.
They definitely also have that ping advantage, and they were confident enough to pick that Kalari as well as the Decker and the Argus. I can already see the combinations there coming from Saudi Arabia, but both of you guys are locking in Saudi. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to lock in Central America. You know, you still have to see, you mentioned mobility from Heroes Malix, but there's still that mobility coming in from the Terra as well as the Aurora, and you've got the Gideon portal as well. They're able to block in and corner people. Yes, you've got that CC, but they've got some damage and some bodies, as well as that, you know, not to mention that wall just being right in front of you. But without further ado, this is game number 5 between Saudi Arabia and Central America. Take it away, Falcon and F6.
Welcome back on in, guys. We are here for another game. I'm joined this time with my co-caster Falcon. How are we doing today, bud?
I am very excited. I'm hoping for a game that is a bit longer than 18.5 minutes. So we have got a low bar to go through, but I think we'll be able to get there with this one.
I definitely think so. I mean, I think these two teams are a little bit more evenly matched. Actually, I'm a little bit more in favor of Saudi Arabia. We've seen them throughout some of their scrims. We've seen them play before. They are a very good team. Central America, a little bit more newer towards the scene. They do have Kev Hayoki, a little bit more of an experienced player. Overall, their team a little bit on the newer end side of when it comes to the comp scene.
Yeah, I'm not too familiar with a lot of the Central American players, especially compared to Saudi Arabia. It does probably help that I play on the EU servers, so I can see them in the solo queue. But I am very interested to see how they cook. And speaking of cooking, the Kalari pick, which, I mean, on Ragnarok, I understand Ragnarok is a very carry-oriented jungler. He wants to get those kills. He wants to be the leader of his team. But when you pick it into an Aurora, Terra, and Bellica, I just don't see how you're going to get value with this Kalari. He doesn't get CC'd, you're going to get stunned as soon as you jump in. And even if you do get in, Grim has the barrier to stop the death mark going off. Gideon can easily portal away if he gets a chance. So it's going to be very hard for Ragnarok to actually do anything in this game if he doesn't get ahead. So the question in this early game is how much can Kalari actually get ahead with?
Yeah, it's going to take a lot. I mean, like you said, there's a lot of things on the enemy team to really stop Ragnarok from trying to do what he wants to do, and that's assassinate the squishies to be able to give his team the advantage. But we are definitely going to have to see here as we drop down on into the battlefield, the sanctuary, where everything goes down. With this, though, we see them coming out strong. It looks like they're going to be grouping up on the side of Central America, maybe possibly trying to get themselves ready to go for a deep ward here. We've seen this before. We've seen this aggressive strategy. Is it going to pan out?
It's going to be hard to say. I don't think either level 1 from either team is going to be stronger. If anything, it's going to be Central America who has the strength, especially if we get the Horfus from the Aurora first, get that root and the seismic assault. And we can already see a 4-man grouping invading onto the red side of Saudi Arabia. M is clocking it, is aware that this has happened. And it doesn't look like they're going to put a ward down. They just check it out, leave no ward, which is definitely a mistake. They still at least put it on the red buff or the 5 camp to make sure that Seas has a bit more security. We see Seas has put a ward in the river, which I don't think is the correct play. But at the very least, everyone should get to lane in time. No mistaken that. Look at where the Central American dual lane is. They're not actually going to reach the minions by the time they collide. So that's going to be a big issue in this early game.
I can agree with you more there. Them being able to get the better initiation off onto the wave. They're getting that first auto in, being able to try and set the wave up. Maybe a little bit of a poke instead, but we actually see Central America actually pushing back the Saudi Arabians. But on this offlane, though, look at this damage that's coming out of M and gets the first blood. Put him on the board 2 minutes in.
Well, we don't need the Kalari level 2 cheese gang. We just have the level 1 solo bowler coming in from M. We're not entirely sure how that happened. I'm just guessing a few spears, a few auto attacks to max passive damage stacks on Lazarus and does an easy cleanup. So M is already ahead in that solo lane. The level 2 has been hit from the dual lane of Saudi Arabia as well. We haven't doesn't look like there's going to be anything else. Apache Hates is going to take a sizable amount of damage, and the dual lane is still level 1. And one thing I want to talk about whilst we have a second is that a lot of these players are playing off roles. We can see that L was playing Argus in the mid lane. Kev Karkin is playing the ADC role when he was going to be playing in that mid lane. So a lot of issues, but Aurora's coming around.
And going to be looking for something potential, but the stasis ball, a nice little PO Decker containment fence. Can they find something? No, they cannot, as that blink is forced out on the Decker. Great pressure, though, coming out of the Aurora, but she needs to be careful. Kalari on her blue buff.
Yeah, they can easily catch, but we can see that the Argus has gone to the other side, so L is not going to be around for this invade, and it does look like Pipos is going to retreat on a ward. Might have gone 1 or 2 minions, not entirely sure that one, but any farm he can get away from this Kalari in this early game is going to be very good, because that not only removes the gold you can get from the Kalari, but also the experience, and that's the main thing. Once Kalari hits that level 6, gets that guillotine unlocked, it becomes a lot more aggressive, but that doesn't need to happen.
As he follows him through there, he's going to be able to hit the death mark. One more on, and there it is. And that's going to be another kill going towards the side of Saudi Arabia. Starting off this match hot, but hold on a second. The repeat gang, the circle of ice misses, but the pressure is still there. And it's finally Central America puts one back towards their count.
And in fact, what great map awareness, knowing that C's was retreating back to the tier 2 tower, got the nice passive double jump over the wall and getting a dagger onto the tower. That's going to be the second kill for this Kalari already in 4 minutes. That is such a good start. Was looking for the invade, but Pharaoh's respawn timer allowed him to reset, go towards blue buff, make sure he is safe, and he's going to pick up the minions going under tower as well, so he's not going to lose that on the side of Central America, which is not too bad. But I mean, 3 kills to 1 in this early game is definitely a good start for Saudi Arabia, not just because you have more kills, but because 2 of them are on this Kalari.
Geez, that assassin, like we talked about, that's what you want out of your assassins, to get an early game lead. But L hits the dread, able to get the damage off, and CC locked out, forces a blink. 1 HP in a dream as Kev got caught even in the front of his tier 1 tower there, Falcon.
I don't know if he knew that L was missing. I just think that's map awareness or Central America not respecting the fact that the Argus was rotating instead of retreating back to base. So that is going to be the blink burned, which is going to be an issue because the Fangtooth has just spawned. And with ACM having his own blink, that dual lane is going to be much more safe for the side of Saudi Arabia. I don't think it's going to be too much of an issue until Ragnarok does hit level 6, because at least this Kalari is not very good at taking these early objectives, hasn't got to sustain, will take a sizable amount of damage, especially from the likes of a Fangtooth. So Central America doesn't have to worry about that too much, but just 1 pick, that's all they need. If they can get 1 pick, especially on Kev, who has no blink anymore, then that's going to be an easy early objective.
Blink is such a useful resource, and it's really kind of like the basis of a lot of these engagements, especially early on in the game. A lot of these teams are fighting around that blink. But with that being said, though, let's look at the team fight capabilities of both of these team comps. As we can see, like when it comes to Central America, they have a pretty good overall fight. But with the Zarus being so far ahead, it's not that good, as he actually uses a Coliseum, sees without a blink, going to go in, and M gets another kill and stacks up on the Coliseum as he's running away with this game in the off lane. But hold on a second, as the initiation, there's the guillotine, there's the damage, there goes the health bar. Now Hayes is by himself, but here's Pipo trying to put on a show, but he's not able to put on damage as he's forced to retreat because there's so much pressure applied here in this duo.
These sealed, it was used on the actual trap, so the death mark was able to go off. That was a great placement from ACM, making sure that Kev Tarkin was going to be killed in that situation. I don't think that mattered too much in this scheme of things, but it just meant that Ragnarok got the maximum damage off he could, and did get level 6. There could have been a chance to go for an extra kill there, and I think I would like to see Saudi at least attempt a Fangtooth at play, but instead they have gone for the reset, gone back towards their base and have bought some items. Ragnarok already having the malady, M already having the augmentation at 7 minutes. That is such a good position to be in, and I feel bad for C's. Like we saw earlier, he was 2 levels down, he's only 1 level down now, but Ragnarok's soon going to hit level 7, and every single time that Coliseum is going to be up, C's has to be so careful.
Really careful indeed, because it's not that he's under leveled, but there's no way for him to get out of this cage unless he has that flash. And with the amount of just control M has in this off lane, he's going to be able to start to rotate now. He's going to be able to facilitate for his team. And then this is probably when you're going to start to see Team Saudi Arabia go after these neutral objectives. But I'm on a bad spot. The axe does miss. People show is not going to be able to catch up as he's still safe and good to go, having that regen to kind of get himself back and a little bit healthier inside this lane.
Yeah, Saudi Arabia need to be starting this Fangtooth. They have seen where Central America's jungler is, and they have L already here. He has so much mid control that I think it is a mistake just not having to do anything else on the map. You can see that Pipos has also reset, but I mean, M is easily able to take this 2v1 if he has ultimate available, and we might have, again, we're going to have a 2v2 around the gold buff, but it does look like Central America are going to back off. Hibachi Hayes just trying to do some poke whilst he comes up, but it's still going on. This is a lot of damage coming in. Have you got back to what coming around?
And then there's a Kalari with the death mark and lands on Cap, Kaioken, and Hayes left in the back, doesn't be destroyed as well. And now it is still a 3v1. The cryo system goes off, but is it going to be enough? No, it's not. And they pick apart the dual lane once again. Is this the time they go to the Fangtooth, or what do they do with this advantage?
They have to do Fangtooth. Pharaoh is full HP, has got that black hole, but you had your ADC reset, you had your jungler reset, you had your support reset. There is no better chance to do this, so they are going to start that Fangtooth. It is going to fall pretty quickly at this stage of the game. The Sky Split is not complete from ACM, but with the help of L, who is level 8 at this point, it is going to fall out. It's going to be the first Fangtooth for Saudi Arabia, a bit later than it would have been nice. It's about 9.5 minutes, so the third Fangtooth is not going to be spawning anytime soon. But the kills on the main point, 7-1, not even 10 minutes into this game. A couple of them just solo kills as well in this off lane. M, once again, gotten that Colosseum online. Cease has to be so careful. I think he's got Blink, but you used it really early. Colosseum's going to come through, and that's just going to be an easy tower dive for M.
M cleaning up another kill, another solo bolo roared towards his name, but here's that rotation. Pharaoh thinks he's in the spot, but here's that Kalari death mark, tick, boom, and there he goes.
Why would you blink there? You were 100% dead every single time as soon as you saw that death mark. Just using the blink, it just... I don't know. I don't know why he used it, if it was ping difference, if he didn't mean to press it, but that's just an extra 5-minute cooldown that you wasted for no reason. This is going to be an easy first tower for Ragnarok and M. I'd like to have given M the solo bounty on this, but extra gold onto this Kalari at this stage of the game is definitely not a bad sign. It's going to be building in towards that mutilator just to deal with the slightly tankier targets on the side of Central America. But everywhere you look on this map right now, Saudi Arabia are just dominating.
Honestly, I think it's just Ragnarok. We know he's an aggressive player. We've seen him time and time again, just never afraid to take a fight. And we've seen him in pretty much every single lane, and he's been successful every time he showed up.
Yeah, apart from the last game, he didn't do too well, but now he's definitely bringing it back. And ACM and Higashi just running down the Hibachi Hayes L on the backside, using a Synaptic Obliterator to do the extra damage. Kev is trying to reset. He doesn't going to get in time. The Dread Nova's going to go through the site. The Particle Shredder is going to be enough. It doesn't look like the dual lane of Saudi Arabia were even there to help. That's just an extra kill. And I love L's rotation there, getting that mid tower, knowing that he doesn't really need to push that in mid lane anymore, so immediately going to rotate over to his dual lane and get 2 more kills and an extra tower.
I mean, at this point, we can say Saudi Arabia is in complete control of this game, complete control over the map. They're doing whatever they want to right now. We see that they have a Gideon on the side of Central America rotating over to this off lane, but do they have the damage? It's because M is huge right now as he looks like he is in a bad place. No friendlies near on by. Can they secure the kill? No, they cannot. He picks up, sees on the back end. Can he pick up Pharaoh the snipe? Long arm of the law to clean up the double goes towards them.
Normally it's Grux you see in the 2v1s, but M is showing that Zarus is just as capable. Yes, he had a lot of kills. Yes, he has tons of items, and yes, he had a long arm of the law from the downtown, but it was still a 2v1 at that point. M is unstoppable, level 10, the highest level out of anyone in this game. Never mind, that's a lie, because Ragnarok and L are also level 10. Saudi Arabia have a massive experience lead, and that's not even talking about the gold.
Not at all. They just are dominating. People, again, trying for a gank, but gets hit with the containment fence, not able to push on too much. Hayes getting a little bit friendly here, not able to hit the knockup, and now it's going to be in a bad spot. One stasis, one obliterated, and you are on.
Yeah, I don't know. Hibachi Hates shouldn't have been there in the first place. Ragnarok is looking under the tier 2 tower, gonna blink, has the guillotine, has the death mark. He's gonna get stunned at the tower though, he's going to die.
No!
That is a classic Ragnarok right there, going way too aggressive, but it was worth the shot. Why not add a bit of showmanship to it? L is also finding Kev Karkin in the mid lane. The particle shredder is going to take him down under half. No ultimate available for the Argus, so Kev is going to walk away. I mean, Ragnarok should have done that in any sort of world. That was never going to really happen, especially against a Aurora. But, I mean, you're 14-2 in kills, why not?
Why not indeed? But that's a huge bounty left over. But look at this rotation towards M. Can he do it again is the question. Is it 4-man this time? The GTFO is hit. The stun is hit. And that's another shutdown going towards Central America. But oh my!
At least ACM is making it 1-for-1 at this stage again. Central America getting some good shutdowns. Got the kill on M. Got the kill onto Ragnarok. So they are getting massive bounties. But we can see L starting up this mini prime. This is not the best time because Fangtooth has also spawned. But Central America are not going to be in a position to go for it. So although this is definitely not the ideal play, they are going to be able to probably secure both objectives. Central America only has their Grim respawning now, but I mean, Saudi Arabia just not even looking towards the Fangtooth right now. Ragnarok going back to his own jungle, going for the farm, has built that mutilator. Not entirely sure what he's going to build next. Probably the Envy at this stage again, get that silence online, which is just going to make it even more of a challenge to deal with Kalari. But Central America, they know that this Fangtooth is still alive, still available. But in this 4v4, it's not something that is ideally going to be easy to get.
Not at all, as people are now aggressive over towards this dual lane, trying to pick out L, but he's able to survive. Here comes Hagazi, but look at the rotation through mid. Here they come. Look at the back line. Kev needs to leave, and he's going to get quick back into the gray screen. People forced on the flash, but the chase is on. Hayes also in a bad spot. It's going to go down here, and that's a double pickup. The hunt, though, is not over as they're running towards, but sees on the rotation. They're going to look towards this Fangtooth.
I do like how Central America, they're looking for stuff. They're not just sitting down and going out, but even then, going into a 3v4, that is not what you want to do. ACM just shooting the front line. Pipos going solo, Cease behind him. I don't even know ACM is coming through. Black Hole is on top. The Blink is going to be followed through. It's not too bad for Central America so far.
And he cleans up with the long arm of the law to provide some justice for that aggression, and now sees forced to use the blast flower, unable to kill. But look at Farrell gets hit with a stasis ball. One more tick, and he's going to be gone. And look at the Fangtooth, Kalari just soloing it. Saudi Arabia coming out.
Look at the solo lane. M just killed Kev on a solo fight, once again taking that tier 2 tower. So whilst that was all happening, M once again showing how strong of a solo laner he can be. And I mean, it wasn't looking too bad for Central America. They took quite a sizable amount of downs of ACM. They were getting out until they weren't. But going back to the point, they're not sitting out, they're trying to do stuff, even if everything they are trying is slightly leading to their death. Speaking of, M is in a 2v1 again, but I don't think he really cares.
I wouldn't be too worried either when I'm 4 or 5 levels up on my opponent. It doesn't matter what you do to him at this point, you just cannot stop him. And the rest of Saudi Arabia as well also has just a gigantic lead. But L caught out here, might be able to go down as they are chasing GTFO. Oh my goodness, the E-pop, but now he's stationary. Here comes the reinforcements. L with the moves, with the juice, but not enough as they're able to pick him on up. ACM now in trouble. Can they pick him apart? Kev, one more hit. There it is, that basic Ragnarok in the back line. They're going down. The health bars are dropping. The black hole drops in the back line. Sees trying to die, but look at Pharaoh just getting outplayed. There's still for no, and he's still able to get the kill as they are now brawling out in this mid lane massacre in the Coliseum. And there it is. That's a 5-man wipe.
It was looking good. Central America, they got the pick on the Arcus, they got the pick on to ACM, but Ragnarok still with that mini fight for the last few seconds assassinated the backline, assassinated Pharaoh without any of his team helping, and once M came in, that was the daylights for Central America. And no, Saudi Arabia are not going to get anything off of that. They're just going to get a few more kills. It is going to just further the momentum, further the gold that they have. Because, I mean, at the moment in time, there's not actually much for them to pick up. They can push these tier 2 towers, yes, but if they wait 1.5 minutes, the Orb Prime is spawning, and with Ragnarok having 11 kills, with ACM having 7 kills, and M having 6 kills, I think they have enough damage to do it once it spawns.
I mean, I couldn't agree with you more there. I mean, like you talked about earlier, they're just so dominant, right? They're taking control of this game. M is unstoppable. Ragnarok with 11 kills, just deleting the backline as we just saw there. When this big Orb Prime pops up, 20 minutes, they should be able to burn this with the amount of lead. But going back towards Central America, we talked about how they do have that comp to potentially change the tide of a big Orb fight, as we see M just not caring, he's just doing so much damage. It's unbelievable. But back to Central America, oh my goodness, no, they cannot, because Kevkayokin got picked here, and that's going to be 4 members that are the only ones left to defend this next big objective.
Can you even defend it? Like, you have basically no chance of survival. Once M decides that you want to die, you are going to pretty much die. And if you don't, Ragnarok is there. The Colosseum is going to come on to Pharaoh. Ragnarok looking behind, does not even get there in time. ACM is going to deal with C's, and good luck with this one.
And it's going to be a massacre in the mid lane still, as they are behind the tier 2, in between the inhibitors, still picking up kills, but C's got ACM as the rest of the team of Saudi Arabia is going down. It's a 2-for-2 trade, but Ragnarok picks up a 3rd kill. Look at M to pick up the 4th as they put down the rest of Central America here.
I mean, they got 2 kills, so that's going up above Kevkayokin, the only one alive, but you do not want to walk anywhere near this Zarus, and you don't know where the Kalari is, so you have to be so careful. L hasn't got much mana, but Kevkayokin is going for the 1v2 here.
And he's being very brave, and he's looking to fight this out. He uses the bubble, but the damage is not enough. The Spear of Nier coming in clutch once again, and that is going to be another member of Central America down.
I mean, yeah, they can't start the Orb Prime, so it could certainly be worse for Central America, but just adding another kill to the fire at this point, 31 kills to 7. We're 21 minutes into this game, F6, and that's what, 38 kills in 21 minutes. I don't know maths, but that's a lot.
That is a lot there, Falcon, and pretty much majority of it is Saudi Arabia. Definitely a couple kills that they kind of just fed towards Central America, a lot of squirrely plays, but in the end, they still end up coming out on top. And I mean, they need to actually close this game out though, because the later it gets, yes, you get stronger, but you're going to hit your cap before Central America, and the longer this goes, they're going to catch up. But we know how Grim does a lot of damage.
Hang on, Central America, they know that the Fangdew has started. They're going for the Orb Prime. M is here, but he's the only member. It's going to be L coming over. This is going to be a 2v5.
And he's trying to fight this out. The Coliseum does hit. He does get the attention away, though, from the Orb Prime. Have gone, deleted, go by, and is still fighting the Gladiator inside the Coliseum as he solos and pushes off. But look at the back line. The death mark is on CC's. Goodbye. See you later. People flash from Rag. Going to use the guillotine to CC the lockdown, the kill as they wipe up Central America.
It was worth the shot. I think that was a do or die situation from Central America, but they just don't have the damage to burst it. M is able to deal with enough nuisance to make sure that they can't focus the Orb Prime. They needed to focus the Zarus, and by the time that they even managed to turn, the rest of the team was coming in. L doing a decent amount of damage. Ragnarok, ACM, Hagazi, they're finished off the Orb Prime. M is just split pushing in the meantime, 3v1, but he does not care. He is level 15. pristine at this stage of the game. No Colosseum online, but even then, he is not going to have any sort of problems because the rest of the team is now starting to push up this mid lane. And Central America need to make decisions. Are they going to go full commit onto M, or are they going to try to defend the mid lane?
And Hayes out of position here. Look at the conversion coming out of Saudi Arabia. 1 CC, 1 lock. Forces the flash though. Season people looking to try and initiate, but I don't think this is a fight that you want. The black hole rips to the back line, but there goes Pharaoh. Goodbye. See you later. M with the damage inside that inhibitor and just taking down the members one at a time as now the siege is on.
Season's going to be on for probably a little amount of time. One thing I do want to note whilst we have these minions raised pushed up is that we are playing on the EU ping. So Saudi Arabia has definitely got a better ping compared to Central America, kind of a reverse situation of the last game. So at least Central America are putting up a decent fight. They have survived longer than Saudi Arabia against USA Red, so they can put their heads up high for that one. But I don't think they're going to survive for much longer. Ragnarok has now returned. Cease is very much too deep there.
Too deep and is gone as he's going to be back into the gray scheme for 40 seconds here. And now they're pushing the inhibitors, middle inhibitor, left inhibitor. Pipo is actually trying to fight M here, but he's just too tanky. Taking the tower shots, they take down the middle inhibitor finally. And now this opens up the map. They're pushing through mid. They are not scared at all as they're looking for another pick. Ragnarok being able to get the death mark off, but can the obliterate land? And it does! Takes away another member. Can this be the end? But no minions are here just quite yet.
They need to get these side lanes up. Both minion waves are there. The solar lane has been pushed in. The dual lane is being currently pushed in. There's still no minions. M is just doing random stuff. He dies. Oh well for him. He will turn to the death screen. 50-second death timer. It is a 4v4 at the moment.
4v4, but Season's about to die, and that's a 4v3, ladies and gentlemen. But this is where it's gonna happen. Double minion wave. Aurora trying to block away, but the core is slowly going down. Grim is looking grim. He's going to be safe, but Pharaoh gets knocked out of the air and is going to be put back to his spawn. The rest of Central America is trying to defend here, and they're holding strong, but here comes the secondary waves. Can they hold out? The health bars are looking low. L is low, but the damage he does is incredible. ACM being able to poke away. They don't have M, they don't have the Coliseum, but they do have the wave, and they are gonna take this game.
And in another, I guess you could say, storm, 42-8, 25 minutes, Saudi Arabia are going to redeem themselves, get the dub against Central America in, I mean, an extremely bloodthirsty game. My objectives did not matter. It was all about how many kills you could get. Ragnarok wins it with the 15-1 situation. Yes, that one death was extremely stupid. Yes, one of the deaths from M was extremely stupid. But when you have, nearly 5 times the amount of kills as your enemy, that's not really going to matter that much, is it?
Not really at all. Saudi Arabia coming in clutch with the redemption arc, saying, hey, you know what, we didn't have ping the first game, but we definitely have it now. And they were like, hey, we're still a top contender. We are coming back for that rematch, USA. So I can't wait to see how they do for the rest of this group. But that's going to be it for us over here on the casting desk. It has been Falcon, the main man himself, F6 here, and we'll catch you guys on the next one.
Thank you so much, Falcon and F6. Welcome back to the desk. We just watched Saudi Arabia and Central America. We have to talk about Saudi Arabia showing up and showing out. They said, hey, game one was just a minor kerfuffle. We got to hand it to Central America, though, to defend and hold out on the game for just as long as they could. But game two of Group B, Saudi just took over since the very beginning. What did we see from game two?
Oh man, we saw. I mean, there's a lot. I'm gonna save some for my buddy Malix to talk about here, but this was the M and the Ragnarok show, in my opinion. I know some people might have other opinions there. I guess it's also the L show. Yeah, as we said, there's a lot to talk about, but really it was the M and the Ragnarok show. M over in the off lane, utilizing his knowledge of blink timers and ultimate timers, just killing C's off cooldown on that Terra, just repeatedly getting stacks, and then using those stacks to then thrust momentum into the mid and mid-late game. And then Ragnarok on that Kalari, that spicy chef special. He's known for being really like a Zarus one trick, and he kind of highlighted how that's maybe not the case. But again, Kalari is very feast or famine type of hero. But you can see here, he has a 69% win rate with 231 games. That is insane. Like, that is insane. Actually insane. So I feel like he just kind of war crime Central America with that Kalari. And I think it's worth pointing out, he got a pentakill during that game. He killed 5 enemy teammates from Central America in one whole fight. So just absolutely incredible show run by those two. What do you think, Malix?
I feel like Kalari, she was just set up a camp on that dual lane, just collecting kills off the kills, and then you have, if you tune over to the other side of the map, you have Saurus being piloted by M, and like he goes in the 1v1 wins, he goes in the 1v2 wins. Did not unfortunately win the 1v3, but they got a trade kill in the end thanks to the Murdoch. But when you have your offlane just being soaking so much pressure from the map, then like you're free to do whatever you want on the other side, and that's really what they showcase, because Ragnarok didn't really have to care about this offlane. He could just go to mid or to the dual lane, or just go into the enemy jungle. And from there, at that point on, it's just like slowly but surely just being strangled out of the game. So I don't think Central America had a chance to really combat that one.
And Saudi Arabia just, my oh my, just showed so much dominance, and they showed so much finesse over that Central American team. The Kings of Saudi performed so well with their team comp, which is what you said, Shadow. But, their team comp as a whole, you're looking at Kalari, which you mentioned. We've got the Argus, the Murdoch, the Decker, and of course, the star of the show, Zarus, piloted by M. We're seeing his numbers. He's got a 75% win rate on Zarus, and he's only got 16 matches played.
Yeah, I think he might be smurfing here or something, because he had very strong knowledge about the cooldowns involved, especially in that Terra Zarus matchup. But one thing that really stood out to me about his performance wasn't about ability use or anything like that, but it was the way he and both him and Ragnarok both bought Envy on their heroes. So for those of you at home who maybe don't know what that does, once every like 60 seconds or whatever the cooldown is on it, when they auto attack an enemy, it silences them for about 1.5 seconds or 1.25 seconds. And if you're a Gideon and you have someone jump on you, your reflexive response is to turn around and torn space away. But when Zarus or Kalari hit you, you can't do that, and then you just die. So I think that was a really heads up play, recognizing just what that item does, what it's capable of in that composition, that team comp. So I was really impressed by that, especially on M Zarus.
I cannot not mention that Central America's performance. I think they did a very good job. I think if they weren't as behind as they were, towards the mid and late game, I think they could have put up a bigger fight. We saw some moments of light where in the mid lane they got those 2 picks, they caught Ragnarok, they started to get those bonus in all across the board, and then if they had just a bit more momentum their way, they could probably have been a lot closer game. But all in all, I think it was just a home run from Saudi Arabia.
Both did exceptionally well, but as we look at these group standings from Group B, there is a lot at stake here, rather, as we go into the last game of the day here, as we've got USA Red with 1 win, 1 loss, Saudi Arabia 1 win, 1 loss, Italy of course has 2, and Central America unfortunately has not won a game. But Saudi Arabia, if they win this last match, we might be looking at a 3-way tie here.